If you're not the father, why you ain't just get this done and over with? My mom was a dancer. She used to go to a couple concerts with our friends, and basically they went to an apartment building. They relaxed and chilled, and had.
The Beyonce thing came when a friend of mine who knew her, somebody in her camp,
Okay.
and she said something supposedly, this is all hearsay,
Okay.
about regarding saying Ramir needs to go away, little boy, something to that effect. There was something out there. But
that's why I
people were
said
saying that she's a big part of the problem.
Looks like something wild is going down at the Carter mansion. Queen Beyonce is reportedly losing her grip right now. DNA results have supposedly confirmed what folks have been whispering for years. Jay-Z's alleged secret firstborn son might be real. And now, all the lies they've been stacking are finally starting to fall apart. This ain't just some random online gossip or a rumor from a bitter ex. We're talking about a full-blown court battle, a paternity test, and a grown man claiming Jay-Z's been dodging him for decades. Now the truth is banging on the door, and Beyonce's flawless empire, it's shaking big time. Word on the street is, Queen Bey has been stressing out hard behind the scenes. They've been ducking questions and trying to kill the noise behind closed doors, but it's way too late for that now. The DNA test is out, and the internet, it's going wild. One of Jay-Z's biggest secrets just strutted straight into the spotlight. Now here's the real tea. Did Jay-Z really lie all these years about having a secret son? Or is this man actually his first child? And the big mystery, how long has Beyonce known about this whole disaster? This drama is off the charts scandalous. And get this, Ramir, the man at the center of it all, just scored a huge win in this messy years-long fight. Word is, the court has finally forced Jay-Z to hand over a DNA sample to settle this once and for all. But if you've been following the story, you know this isn't just some fresh scandal. Ramir's been saying for over a decade that Jay-Z is his dad, and in that same time, Jay's been doing everything he can to dodge that test, every legal trick in the book. But now, it looks like his stalling days are done. Now the courts are officially making Jay-Z hand over that DNA. And after all these years of whispers and rumors, we're finally about to get the truth. But here's where things really start to spiral. Because the real reason Jay's been dragging his feet allegedly isn't even about him. It's all about Beyonce. For years, people have been asking, if Jay was so sure that kid wasn't his, why not just take the test and shut it all down in minutes? But according to insiders, it's Beyonce who's been blocking this from the shadows. She didn't want the world finding out that Jay might have fathered another kid outside of their family. And let's be real, after the cheating drama, the elevator madness, the whole Lemonade saga, and her own dad having kids on the side, this would be just another scandal stacked on top.
Jay-Z or any of his people tried to reach out to you to maybe squash you from doing these?
I mean, I wouldn't say they trying to stop it, but they definitely don't want it out there. I would say that. It's crazy to me. I'm not asking for no money or nothing. I'm not asking for no handouts or nothing like that. I work every day. I take care of my family. Only thing I'm asking for, if it's not the truth and there's nothing wrong with the Supreme Court, just get it over with. Just get it over with.
Yeah, you just want the answer.
Beyonce spent years crafting that flawless image. And if a secret firstborn son pops up now, boom, it could wreck everything she's built. Now that the court is stepping in and forcing Jay to finally cooperate, looks like Beyonce's worst nightmare might be unfolding right in front of us. If those DNA results drop and confirm what everyone's been whispering, the entire Carter empire could be hit with its biggest scandal yet. And best believe, Ramir is already celebrating this win. No matter how those results turn out, he's finally about to get the closure he's been chasing nearly his whole life. Say what you want about Ramir, but this case has followed him like a shadow for over a decade. And now, it's bigger than Jay-Z. It's about basic respect and finally being seen. The man's been through it all just trying to get answers. Let's not forget, the internet has been tearing Ramir apart for years. Folks claiming he's just clout chasing, trying to cash in on Jay-Z's name, looking for a quick payout or some fake fame. But if you've actually paid attention, Ramir's been saying the same thing from the start. This was never about money. In one of his interviews, he straight up said, "Everybody's looking at me saying, I'm chasing Jay-Z, I want money, I'm doing this for fame. This was never about money for me. My whole thing was just to see who my father was." And to make that even clearer, He pointed out that he's been taking care of his own business for years. No handouts, no shortcuts. Ramir's been holding it down with 2 jobs, taking care of himself, and all he's ever wanted was the truth and fair treatment from the system. In his own words, I got my own money. I work 2 jobs. I take care of my own business. I just need closure. And I wanted respect from the courts, just like everybody else goes in there and gets respect and gets fair due process. So why didn't he get that? Why was he just pushed aside like his voice didn't matter? That's the question people are asking now. Because with the court finally forcing Jay to submit that DNA, Ramir might finally get the answers he's been chasing for years. Jay-Z might have 99 problems, but that DNA test just became the loudest one on the list.
The Beyonce thing came when a friend of mine who knew her, somebody in her camp, and she said something supposedly, this is all hearsay, about regarding saying Ramir needs to go away little boy, something to that effect. There was something out there.
Now that this lawsuit looks like it's finally leaning in Ramir's favor, this could be the best day he's had in a long, long time. But you already know who's not smiling right now. Beyonce. Word on the block is that she's been the one allegedly pushing Jay behind the scenes, trying to keep this whole thing buried. They say Beyonce didn't want Ramir acknowledged because he was supposedly born outside their relationship. But here's the twist that's not making sense. If Ramir's timeline checks out, Jay-Z allegedly had him before Beyonce even came into the picture. So, technically, her marriage shouldn't be under threat, right? But let's not pretend this is all black and white. Beyonce's whole image is built around being Jay-Z's loyal, ride-or-die partner, the ultimate power couple with billions tied to their brand. And even though Ramir's been saying for years that he's not after Jay's money, doesn't want fame, and doesn't care about stepping into their world, the truth is, there's billions on the line, and Beyonce's not about to let all that slip away just because a long-lost son gets confirmed. But wait, it gets way messier. Word in the streets is that another reason Beyonce allegedly pushed Jay-Z to avoid that DNA test is because of how young Ramir's mom was when this all supposedly happened. That detail alone adds a whole other layer to the situation. And if it's true, that test could open the door to even more drama than anyone expected. According to the rumors, Ramir's mother was underage when all this allegedly happened, and Jay-Z supposedly got her pregnant. Let's be real for a second. If any of this turns out to be true, things could get ugly real fast. We all saw what just went down with Diddy, and Jay-Z has faced lawsuits in the past involving serious allegations tied to a minor. So picture this. If that DNA test confirms that Jay-Z fathered a child with someone who wasn't even legally of age at the time, that's a whole new level of trouble. And here's where things take another wild turn. Ramir's legal guardian claimed that, at one point, Jay-Z's team was actually open to the idea of him forming some kind of relationship with Ramir. But that changed the moment Beyonce allegedly found out about the age situation. As soon as she heard the details, boom, she shut that down instantly. The Guardian said Ramir's mom, Wanda, was just 16 years old when she allegedly met Jay-Z. But to be fair, there's also talk that Wanda might have told him she was older. Still, the whole thing is layered with serious questions. And if any part of it is true, this drama's about to explode even more. She might have told him she was older, but either way, they hooked up, things went left, and Wanda ended up pregnant. But here's the thing. Wanda reportedly had no clue how to reach Jay-Z afterward. She didn't have his real info, and by then, he was already on the rise in his music career. Tracking him down? Practically impossible.
But people were saying that she's a big part of the problem for him. And some of the things that she was doing, a woman would not, she would have some sort of role in what her husband does. And if she was secure with herself and with the situation, not saying you gotta like it, she would help her husband handle it.
Still, no matter the confusion, one thing stands out. Wanda was only 16 at the time of the alleged hookup, and Jay-Z? He was already a grown man, around 22 years old. In today's climate, with the industry being rocked by scandal after scandal, especially among high-profile names, this kind of story hitting the public could be catastrophic. And Beyonce? she wasn't about to let that kind of heat blow back on their family. So once she allegedly found out about the situation, insiders say she made sure that door stayed slammed shut, because this ain't just about a secret child anymore. It's about covering up something that could shatter the entire Carter empire. The stakes are sky high, and with this case heating up fast, time might not be on their side. According to Ramir, all of this goes way back to the 90s, when Jay-Z allegedly had that fling with his mom, Wanda. If those pieces line up, this could be one of the biggest celebrity shakeups in years. According to Ramir, his mom Wanda and Jay-Z did use protection, but clearly something went wrong, and that's how she ended up pregnant with him. But hold on, because this story gets even more twisted. By the time Wanda gave birth to Ramir, she was already in a relationship with another guy named Robert. Now here's the wild part. Robert allegedly knew from the jump that the baby wasn't his. But that didn't stop him from signing the birth certificate anyway. And insiders claim Wanda was still unconscious from labor when Robert went behind her back and wrote his name down as the father. At first, people thought Robert was trying to play the hero. Maybe he felt sorry for Wanda, right? But nope. The real reason? He allegedly did it to get extra food stamps and government benefits. And here's the kicker. Both Wanda and Robert were still minors when this all went down, so Robert wasn't even legally allowed to be signing those documents in the first place. But Ramir didn't stay in the dark for long. He said he found out the truth when he was around 8 years old. That's when Wanda sat him down and told him straight up Jay-Z was actually his real father. And from that moment on, everything changed for Ramir. Ever since Ramir found out the truth, it's been a non-stop roller coaster trying to get answers. And sadly, not long after that conversation, Wanda passed away. But before she died, she left behind a sworn affidavit, doubling down on her claim that Jay-Z was without a doubt Ramir's real father. Now you'd think with all that evidence, plus a dying mother's final statement, Jay-Z would have stepped up and handled the situation like a man. And Beyonce, who's known for being such a devoted mom herself, would have encouraged him to do the right thing. But nope, nothing but silence. And rumor has it, Beyonce was the one allegedly calling those shots behind the scenes. But Ramir wasn't about to back down. After Wanda's death, he teamed up with his legal guardian, Lily Coley, and kept pushing to bring the truth to light. In December 2014, they filed a civil lawsuit against Jay-Z, and that's when things really started to come out. According to them, they had been trying for years to get Jay-Z to agree to a DNA test, but every time they got close, he allegedly found a new way to dodge it. And it didn't stop there. He even accused them of lying to the court and submitting fake documents, then tried to get the case tossed out completely. They claimed Jay-Z and Beyonce used their power to twist the legal system and keep the paternity drama buried for good. But now, that cover might finally be cracking wide open. According to reports, Lily Coley and Ramir didn't just go after Jay-Z. They also allegedly launched a legal battle against their own lawyers. Word on the street is, they believe the very attorneys who were supposed to be fighting for Ramir were secretly working against him. Allegedly, those lawyers were in contact with Jay-Z's legal team and were colluding behind the scenes to sabotage Ramir's case before it even had a real chance. Lily claimed their own legal reps made moves that caused major procedural issues, and not just little mistakes. We're talking about errors so serious, they completely knocked the case off track. Because of those shady actions, the courts in Philadelphia ended up tossing the entire case out, just like that. And can we talk about how Jay-Z and Beyonce have thrown some serious shade at Ramir over the years? One moment that really had people talking was in their track Heard About Us, where Jay-Z dropped a few bars that fans instantly clocked as being aimed straight at Ramir. He rapped, "Billie Jean in his prime for the 1,000th time." And people definitely saw that as a slick reference to the situation with Ramir, trying to downplay the claims like he's just another kid chasing a name. The kid ain't mine. On mine that call me dad. Kidding me? You're not supposed to take this dad thing literally, chick. Now let's break that down. For context, Jay-Z comparing himself to Billie Jean, the song about a woman falsely accusing a man of being her baby's father, wasn't just some throwaway bar. It was a full-blown denial, laced with sarcasm and swagger. But he didn't stop there. Jay went on with, "That's too famous. We don't even really do famous. I'm cool on that. Check the 2 fingers every day I'm getting sued. I show up to court without a suit." He's basically mocking the whole situation, throwing shade at the legal battles, the media noise, and anyone who dares to challenge his image. And the fact that Beyoncé co-signed the track, that added serious weight to the message. Them putting those lyrics out together sent a clear signal. Public shade, straight from the source. And all this while Ramir had been fighting for years just to get a fair shot in court. That hit different. But Ramir didn't fold, not even close. Nearly a decade later, he's still keeping the case alive. And now the pressure on Jay-Z is hitting new heights. A judge has finally ruled in Ramir's favor. And with that green light from the court, Ramir is stepping up. He's not holding back anymore. In fact, he's going all in and getting bold with it. Ramir and his guardian, Lily Coley, recently sat down with reporter Liz Crokin, and they did not hold back. They opened up about their years-long battle to get Jay-Z to take a DNA test. And what they revealed? It's got people shook. Ramir and Lily didn't sugarcoat a single thing. They claimed they've allegedly been receiving threats, and not just from random folks online. According to them, the threats have come directly from Beyoncé's camp. Yep, they said people close to Beyoncé were trying to intimidate them into backing off the case, and they even suspect those orders came straight from Bey herself. But wait, it gets even deeper. Lily also claimed that multiple insiders pulled her aside in private and said it was Beyoncé who was in Jay-Z's ear from the start, allegedly urging him not to take the DNA test. And now you see why this has folks talking. If what they're saying is true, this wasn't just Jay-Z ducking the situation. Beyoncé may have been the one pulling the strings the entire time. But if that's true, it flips the whole narrative on its head. Up until now, everyone thought Jay-Z was the one dodging the truth. But if Beyoncé's really been the one pulling strings behind the scenes, that changes everything. Now, with Ramir finally being heard by the legal system, he looks more determined than ever to take this fight all the way to the finish line, no matter who tries to shut him down. The gloves are officially off. The DNA test is finally happening. Jay-Z can't hide behind the silence anymore. And as for Beyoncé, time's run out. The secrets, the sabotage, the alleged threats, they're all catching up now. Because if that DNA test comes back positive, the Carter Empire, the image, the power couple brand, the billion-dollar legacy, it could all come crashing down in an instant. And now the biggest question remains. What if Ramir was telling the truth this whole time? Will Beyoncé walk away? Will Jay-Z finally own up to it? Or will they keep trying to bury a truth that's already halfway out the grave? Whatever goes down next, one thing's for sure, and 2 things for certain. This story, it's far from over. If you've been following this saga, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and don't miss what's coming next. Because trust, it's only getting crazier from here.